questions.
Definitely. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
We see your lovely background. Now we see.
Very nice.
Just got it home from work.
Yeah, I know. It's 6 p.m. Usually people, this is the time they reach home and stuff. How was work? Good, good.
Good. Busy for the end of the year. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I can imagine. That's good. Irina, how was your week starting?
So far, let's see, what am I, 3 hours in, and it's okay. So
Ah,
I
yeah.
arrived here on time. It's all good.
Yeah. So you're still in the morning. Here it's of
I
the
am. But
day.
you guys are all looking nice and
Yeah.
relaxed. So I'm hoping it will be a good day.
Yes, it will. It will. We're starting with the lovely coaches here, so
Yes.
I bet it's gonna be a great day.
Good.
Again, Tare. Okay, I think it's time to start.
Okay.
Okay, so officially welcome to our monthly webinars of ICF Cyprus chapter. My name is Pauline Sawaya. I am a member of the board and in charge of training and events committee as well. And on a monthly basis, we run webinars that with the purpose of empowering the coaches and the community, as well as providing them with CCEs for renewing of credentials or for their credentials. And I'm very happy today that we have Aileen, because Aileen effectively is the director of credentials and standards in ICF International. And I leave the floor to you, Aileen, to introduce yourself and better and give them a feedback. So, I mean, give them a small overview about your experience. So today's topic is all about credentials, because we know the coaching world is booming like there's no tomorrow. There are a lot of demand for coaches. And we were just talking before the meeting, me and Aileen, that the number of credentialed coaches exponentially grew from 20,000 to 60,000 in like 4 or 5 years, which is an amazing indication, because coaching is a non-regulated industry. And the more credentialed coaches we have, the better, because this is how we guarantee the standards of the industry, since there are no regulations for it. So without delay, Aileen, I'm very happy on behalf of the Cyprus chapter, we're very happy to host you with us. And this recording will be available as well on our YouTube channel for other people to listen to it. So Aileen, the floor is yours. So
All
welcome.
right. Thank you. Well, we are a really small group tonight, but since we're recording this, I'm going to go ahead and go through my whole presentation. So it's going to cover a whole lot of things that may or may not be relevant to you all. But afterwards, we'll get into a Q&A session, and you can ask anything, get clarity on anything, and we can even open it up to maybe some more general things on ICF as well. But I do want to make sure that the rest of your chapter members have this as a resource. And so let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. All right. So first off, thank you very much for having me today. I really do appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to people directly about the credentialing process. We understand that our website can be overwhelming. The options and different application pathways and requirements can be seemingly confusing. So this really gives us an opportunity to touch base with people individually and make sure that they're feeling confident in their next steps forward. We're going to cover a lot of information in this presentation. I'm also going to be offering different tips to help keep you kind of on target for your credential. Let's go ahead and get started. ICF Credentials and Standards is dedicated to ensuring the quality, integrity, and the value of the ICF credential for all who hold them and for the clients they serve. To serve as the global gold standard for professional coach credentialing. By offering robust, consistent, and fair credentialing processes, ICF Credentials and Standards provides an assurance of quality to clients, motivates coaches to continue their professional growth and competency, and delivers high-value credentials to the global coaching community. Obtaining an ICF credential is a rigorous process and not one to be undertaken lightly, but it is this process that adds validity and overall value to the credential, and we take the responsibilities to deliver a high-quality credential very seriously. ICF Credentials and Standards exist to elevate the professional standards in the coaching global ecosystem, and that is our driving force behind the requirements to our credentials. ICF offers 3 credentials. We have the ACC for Associate Certified Coach, the PCC for Professional Certified Coach, and MCC for Master Certified Coach. Your first step towards earning a credential is to first obtain coach-specific education and then begin coaching. All credential levels require that you have obtained coach-specific education, coaching experience, mentor coaching, pass a performance assessment, and pass the ICF written exam. How these different requirements are met is dependent on the type of coach education program or programs you have completed that you will be using to reach the education hour requirement. Let's take a closer look at each level and their available application paths and the information and materials that will be needed. To begin, it's important to know the accreditation type of the education you received. As you can see, there are several options for program types that can be used to meet the required education hours for a credential. In 2021, ICF Coaching Education released new program accreditations. These accreditations are level-based and correlate with the education, mentor coaching, and performance evaluation requirements for credentials at the ACC, PCC, and MCC levels. While the ACTP and ACSTH programs are no longer available to participate in, individuals who took one of these programs in the past may still use them towards an ICF credential. In your application, you will upload your program certificate or letter of completion for the program or programs you're using to reach the requirement. Using any non-accredited programs towards the education requirements, you will need to supply robust documentation, including course outlines and syllabus, along with student materials such as manuals or workbooks, PowerPoint slide decks, and any documentation that would show the content and context of the program. Additional information and resources on education requirements can be found on the Education Requirements page. The coach education program or programs you complete to reach the required education hours will indicate which credential application path you need to follow. At the ACC level, there is the Level 1, Level 2 ACTP application for those who completed a Level 1 or Level 2 or ACTP program. If you completed one of these programs, it included the coach education, mentor coaching, and performance evaluation to the ACC level or above. Then there is the ACSTH application for those who have 60 hours of coach education by completing one or more accredited coach-specific training hours or ACSTH programs, and or completed part of a Level 1 and or Level 2 and or ACTP program or programs. Then there is the portfolio application for those who need to count continuing coach education hours or CCEs and or non-ICF accredited programs towards the education requirement of 60 hours. For the ACC, you will need to have at least 100 hours of coaching experience. For those completing an ACSTH or portfolio application, you will also need to document at least 10 hours of mentor coaching. Additionally, in the ACSTH or portfolio applications, you will provide a recording of one of your client coaching sessions along with a written transcript. Once your application has been reviewed, you will then receive information to schedule and complete the ICF ACC exam. For the PCC, there are 3 similar application paths. There's the Level 2 ACTP application for those who've completed an entire ICF Level 2 program or ACTP program. In these programs, the mentor coaching and performance evaluation for the PCC level has been included. The PCC Level 1 ACSCH application path is available if you have 125 or more education hours completed through one or more ICF Level 1 and or ACSTH program or programs and or part of a Level 1, Level 2, or part of an ACTP program. If you're counting CCEs or non-ICF accredited education towards the requirement of 125 hours, you will apply through the PCC portfolio path. At the PCC level, you will need to have at least 500 hours of coaching experience. You will also need to have at least 10 hours of mentor coaching to document if applying through the Level 1 ACSTH or portfolio application. And in the Level 1 ACSTH portfolio application, you will also provide 2 recordings of client coaching sessions along with written transcripts. Once your application has been reviewed, you will then receive information to schedule and complete the ICF credentialing exam. The MCC has 2 application paths. For those who have completed an ICF Level 3 program, you may apply for the MCC through the MCC Level 3 application. Otherwise, you'll use the portfolio path to record up to 200 hours of coach-specific education. At the MCC level, you need to have at least 2,500 hours of coaching experience. If you completed a Level 3 program, then the mentor coaching was included. If completing the portfolio application, you will need to have at least another 10 hours of mentor coaching to document. In your application, you will provide 2 recordings of client coaching sessions along with a written transcript. Once your application has been reviewed, you will then receive information to schedule and complete the ICF credentialing exam. Now that we have an idea of how the education you have received leads to the application you will complete and what will need to be included, let's take a closer look at each of the other requirements. You may begin counting your client coaching experience hours as of the start of your coach-specific education. ICF defines the start of coach-specific education as any course with at least 30 hours, of which at least 24 hours are in core competency instruction. Eligible courses can be ICF accredited or non-ICF accredited. As soon as you begin your coaching education, you should begin logging client coaching hours. A simple spreadsheet is effective. 4 types of clients may be included on the coaching log: individual, group or team, internal coaching, which is when your job responsibilities include coaching, and third-party coaching, which is when you are contracted by a company to offer coaching. Coaching is considered paid when the coach receives payment for their services. This may be monetary in any amount or be in the exchange of goods or services. A client coaching hour is 60 minutes of actual coaching. If you have a session that is for 30 minutes, you record it on your coaching log as 0.5 hours. If a session is 45 minutes, then you record 0.75 hours. And a full 60 minutes would be 1 hour. For the coaching log, you will want to track the client's name, contact information, dates of the first and last session, total hours coached, and if those hours were paid or unpaid. In keeping with the ICF Code of Ethics, you must obtain consent from each client to list their information on the client coaching log. The consent should be documented in compliance with all relevant laws, for example, the EU's GDPR, except in internal or third-party coaching arrangements with organizations that have a confidentiality policy. In those cases, you should obtain a reference letter from the organization verifying the number of clients and coaching hours provided. Your coaching log should be maintained for your records and will not be submitted to ICF. In your credentialing application, you will be required to complete an attestation of your coaching experience. Applicants no longer submit their coaching log in their application. However, you will need to maintain your coaching log and or letters from organizations you coach for in case you are audited. Keep your log going. Most people who obtain the ACC see that the PCC may be in their future, but sometimes once you have the PCC, people stop tracking, thinking the MCC is going to be out of range for them. But come 10 years later, they find it could be a possibility, and then they need to try and backtrack their hours. All right, I got off of my clicks there. Sorry about that. Whoop. All right. Mentor coaching provides coaching and feedback in a collaborative dialogue process to increase a coach's capability in coaching in alignment with the ICF core competencies. The mentor will observe a coaching session of yours, and then the two of you will discuss which of the competencies were seen, which competencies could have been stronger, things along those lines. For a credential, you will need 10 hours of mentor coaching done over a 3-month period of time or longer. Of the 10 hours, 3 must be one-on-one with the mentor, and the remaining 7 can be one-on-one or done in a group setting. For the mentor coaching, you may work with any current credential ICF holder with a credential at or above the level to which you will be applying. Please note, ACC credential coaches must renew their credential at least once before they are eligible to mentor coach others. For those applying for a credential where mentor coaching to the level to which you are applying has not been included in your ICF accredited program, you will need to enter in the mentor's name and email, date of the first session, date of the last session, how many hours of mentoring were received, and if any of those hours were in group sessions. Mentor coaching is a requirement that I encourage everyone to maximize the impact it can have for them. Mentor coaching is done over 3 months or longer. You do not need to do it 3 months to the day. It does not expire, so you can use it whenever you are ready to apply. This means you can really use the requirement to grow as a coach. Do a session, get the feedback, implement the feedback into your coaching, and then when you're ready, go back for another boost. Know that you can work with more than one mentor. If you have one that you connect with and you're getting the growth you want, you can stay with them. Or if you want to get another perspective, you can do that as well. For those applying for a credential where the performance evaluation to the level to which you are applying was not included in your ICF accredited program, you will submit a recording or recordings of a client coaching session that is between 20 and 60 minutes in length. The session must be with a regular client. Along with the recording, a written transcript of the audio file must also be submitted. The transcript must be in the language in which the session is spoken. If the session is in a language that is not on the current ICF list of available languages for assessment, then an English transcript of the session must also be submitted. For the ACC level, 1 recording is required. At the PCC and MCC level, 2 recordings are required. Please note the performance evaluation is the last part of the application review, and it's the part of the process that takes the longest to complete. If you do not pass a performance evaluation, you may submit a new recording and transcript with a fee of $150 for each retake needed. About the performance evaluation, remember what it is. It's an evaluation of you and your coaching skills. It is not about the client. It is tempting to want to submit a session where the client has an amazing moment and you want the world to share in it. But is that moment really a result of your coaching in that specific session? Or is it the coaching that was done in the sessions that led up to it? That's what the assessors need to see, a wide range of your coaching skills across the core competencies. You can check out the minimum skills requirement page that will cover what the assessors are looking for in a session at each level. Make multiple recordings. This is to be with a real coaching session with a real client, which means in a session, you need to follow the client. A client might have a session where you don't have the opportunity to display a wide range of skills, but that's why you keep recording. There will be a session at the right time with the right client that will be the right one to submit. Working with a mentor can be a great resource in helping you find the right session. Let's talk a little bit now about one of the requirements that distinguishes the ICF credential, the written exam. ICF exams for a credential are offered in a proctored format. ICF Credentials and Standards is committed to rigor in the standard for credential holders and for us in the way that we deliver the credentialing services. Standards for certification bodies require secure testing. What does proctored testing provide? It assures fairness for the candidate in the examination process, that the process does not allow some, even a small number, to have an unfair advantage at test content than others. It preserves the integrity of the exam, but more importantly, preserving the integrity and the value of the credential for those who work so hard to earn them. I'm very excited to let you know that just this past November, ICF Credentials and Standards launched a new exam, the ICF ACC exam. The exam is designated for ACC candidates at this stage of their career and assesses a candidate's knowledge of coaching. The exam was pilot tested with more than 700 ACC candidates in early 2024. For the ACC exam, candidates are provided with 90 minutes to take the exam with a 10-minute break halfway through. There are 60 multiple choice questions, and there's only one correct response to each answer. The questions on the exam are knowledge-based, and we'll take a look at a sample question in just a moment. Currently, and until March 14th of 2025, ACC candidates have the option to take the ACC exam or the credentialing exam, which we will cover next. And finally, the ACC exam is offered in 16 languages. Candidates at the PCC and MCC level are required to pass the ICF credentialing exam. This exam assesses knowledge and ability to apply the following in practice: the ICF core competencies, the ICF Code of Ethics, and the ICF definition of coaching. The ICF credentialing exam is a situational judgment exam. Let's take a closer look at what that means. Coaching as a practice requires professionals to be able to make challenging judgments in the moment to best serve their clients. A situational judgment test provides a manner in which to test an individual's knowledge, abilities, and skills in a coaching context. It will present the test taker with a realistic situation and a selection of options that are plausible, yet not all equally effective ways of handling the situation. A situational judgment test is more nuanced than a simple right-wrong test question. Candidates are provided with 3 hours to complete the exam. It is delivered in 2 sections with an optional 10-minute break midway. The ICF credentialing exam consists of 78 scenario-based items, followed by 4 possible responses. Candidates select the best response and the worst response of the 4 options presented. There is only one correct best response and one correct worst response for each coaching scenario. A reasonable response to the scenario may be presented. Candidates will receive credit only for selecting the best possible action or the worst possible action. And the ICF credentialing exam is also offered in 16 languages. So some tips about taking the exam. You want to review the ICF core competencies and the code of ethics. Your individual coaching education, mentor coaching, and coaching experience remain the best preparation. Set aside time to review your education material and feedback from your mentor coach. Click the available sample questions on the exam content page, or the sample questions on the ACC exam if that's the one that you will be taking. Reflect on common coaching situations and possible responses. Remember what the exam is testing, the application of the ICF core competencies in coaching situations. Consider what that looks like when it's done well and when it's not done well. Released in August was an online tutorial for the exams on the Pearson VUE website. These tutorials allow you to experience the exam system, how to navigate in it, what the break will look like, and you can go through answering some of the sample questions. So talking about sample questions, let's go ahead and go through one both for the ACC exam and then one for the credentialing exam. So for the ACC exam, which of the following represents the most important purpose of silence in coaching? A, to allow a client to process their thoughts. B, to enable the coach and client to hear one another. C, to provide the coach time to think of their next question. D, to provide the client time to think of the right response to the coach's question. The correct answer, A, to allow a client to process their thoughts. So that was a knowledge-based question. Let's look at a situational-based item, and that would be found on the ICF credentialing exam. As you can see, there is a lot more text to go through. A university biomedical researcher is working with a coach to improve their interactions with colleagues. The client is a very analytical thinker and can easily explain detailed data points and complex graphs, but seems reluctant to share anything personal with the coach. In previous sessions, the coach encouraged the client to describe how they felt at social events, but the client seems highly uncomfortable, answering only with short one-word responses. When the client arrives through their session today, the client silently hands the coach a journal. The client has written several detailed entries over the last week about their experience attending a university luncheon, a faculty party, and a staff development workshop since their last session. While the client says little to the coach in the moment, their entries show deep reflections about the anxiety the client experienced at these events and their desire to overcome social anxiety. What should the coach do? A, acknowledge the reflection work the client has done and ask the client if they feel comfortable exploring some of the emotions they described in their journal. B, ask the client if they would summarize the entries they detailed in their journal for the coach. C, ask the client to identify some steps they can take to overcome the anxieties they wrote about. D, ask the client what new awareness they developed about themselves through the journaling process. So that is a lot to absorb. I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds to reflect, and then we'll take a look at the correct answers. All right. Best action. Acknowledge the reflection work the client has done and ask the client if they feel comfortable exploring some of the emotions they described in their journal. The worst action is C. Ask the client to identify some steps they can take about overcoming the anxieties they wrote about. So you passed the ICF exam and you are now credentialed. Congratulations. But your journey does not end the moment you earn a credential. ICF Credential coaches often share that the value of a credential is in their professional journey that begins with the award of their credential and continues as they learn and grow and develop in their skills, expertise, and experience in coaching throughout their career. An essential component of the ICF credentialing program is the commitment to ongoing learning and growth as a practitioner. The design of the ICF credentialing program with its 3 levels of certification, ACC, PCC, MCC, helps support a coach practitioner in growing as a professional across their career. But that learning and growth also happens for ICF credential holders who remain at any of the 1-3 levels of credentialing as well. Let's take a closer look at the journey that begins once you are awarded your credential. At the ACC level, 40 CCEs credits are needed, and my apologies, at all levels, 40 CCE credits are needed to renew the credential. Of the 40 CCEs, 24 are required to be in core competencies, and the remaining 16 may be in additional core competency CCE credits or in resource development. Of the 24 in core competencies, 3 must be in ethics, and for ACCs, another 10 hours of mentor coaching is needed. The remaining hours may come from other activities based in the core competencies. Resource development CCE credits recognize activities that contribute to a coach's professional development that fall outside of the ICF core competencies. Here's some things to know about renewing your credential. First, a well-kept secret. On our website, you will find the professional development page. It covers all acceptable CCEs and where to find them. It is a great resource page to help you with your credential renewal. Some activities refer to recording the time spent in an activity. Please know that 1 hour is equivalent to 1 CCE credit. For your renewal, you may use any activity completed within the date of when your credential or last credential was awarded. So when you submit your renewal application. There are many professional development activities which can contribute to your renewal, such as courses, attending some chapter events, mentor coaching, coaching supervision, and even reading. Your renewal application is available as soon as your credential or last renewal is awarded. This allows you to enter in CCEs as they are gained. And you may submit your renewal application up to 10 months prior to the expiration date. By submitting early, you gain additional time to earn your next CCEs for renewal. Once you're credentialed, you also have the exciting opportunity to apply for an advanced certification. The advanced certification in team coaching is the first ever ICF certification dedicated to a specialized coaching discipline. It allows coaches to build upon their competency as an ICF credential holder and demonstrate their advanced knowledge, skills, and abilities in the specialized discipline of team coaching. This is something that you are interested in. You can find the requirements on the team coaching page, which can be found under Credentials and Standards in the gray navigation bar on our website. And when you're ready to upgrade your credential from ACC to PCC or PCC to MCC, you will simply apply for the new credential level in full. There is no special application to upgrade. You will use the application that's appropriate for the education you will be using to apply for a new credential. You will upload and enter in all information and documents to demonstrate that you now meet the meet the requirements for the new credential. This may include education and experience hours that you use towards your current credential. For the MCC, you must obtain another round of mentor coaching with an MCC. This round of mentoring cannot have been used towards your ACC or PCC previously. When you apply for the PCC or MCC, you will take the ICF credentialing exam. The only exception to this is if you've passed the ICF credentialing exam within 12 months of applying for your PCC or MCC. Please note the ACC exam does not meet the exam requirement for the PCC or MCC. If you find you need support in completing your application for an ICF credential or have a question on the process or any of the requirements, please do not hesitate to reach out to the ICF customer service team. You may access ICF customer service through the support page found in the footer of any of our web pages or on various credentials and standards page at the bottom. The support page includes FAQs on various ICF subjects, including credentialing. In the credentialing section, you will find a variety of topics with questions and answers. If you're not able to find your question or need additional clarification, you will also find a support form that you can complete and submit to the service team. Quarterly, ICF Credentials and Standards staff are available to answer questions in a live call. You can find the dates and times on the How to Apply page of the website, along with the link to register for the call you would like to attend. Our next call has not yet been established for 2025. We just had our last call of the year last week. But before you have to dive into the support page, I'd be happy to address any questions that you have.
Thank you, Aileen, for this very informative session, really. Thank you. All the details are covered, and I'm sure we have questions. I have a question about the coaching log. When you said now there's no need to submit a coaching log so you don't put the coaching log in your application?
You don't. So in 2020, with the launch of the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulations in the EU, it was very, very restrictive. And it's a great thing as a customer, right? It's a great thing that your stuff is not being put out there, but it did make it challenging for organizations to make kind of some of those adaptations for that. But we do now have it set up where you do not share that log with us. You maintain that so that you know when you hit the 100 hours and the correct count of clients that are needed and the paid hours. That's for your records. But you will do an attestation, and it is a legal attestation of how you met those hours, that you've reached the 500 or the 100 or the 2,500, that you have the amount that's needed and paid, that you have the correct number of clients. We do random audits. If you do an audit, you will use your log to reach out to your clients and ask them to verify back to us your coaching of them. So again, we still are not going to be receiving any of their personal information.
Okay, so it's general letter that says I've done this number of hours within this time period with 35 clients, let's say, and that's it?
Yeah, it's a
without
checklist.
mentioning. Yes.
Yeah, it's a checklist that you would do verifying it. If you're working for a company that you've been providing coaching for, then they will provide a letter, and on your coaching log, you probably just want to put, ABC company, and, put the information in there so you can track those hours into your total. And then if you were audited, you would just submit that letter to us.
Okay, excellent. Another question before I leave it to the audience is within 1 year, if somebody passes the credentialing exam, not the ACC one, they can go for the MCC within 1 year and just do the mentoring, right?
Well, you still have the education and the performance evaluation, but you just would, nothing else has changed. It's just that we are now in the process of refreshing our exam every year. So what you would take would not be the same exam after a year. And so we have a handful of people. This is not a common practice, but we do have a handful of people at the ACC level and the PCC level that for various reasons, are able to turn around and apply for their next level within a year. So typically at the ACC level, it's somebody who has, potentially the experience hours or typically has the education hours. They did a level 2 program. They want the credential. They want to go ahead and get the ACC because they have the experience hours, but they're very actively coaching, but they want that credential to give them a boost or to help them get a job maybe in a company. Which means then their hours typically are going to be rapidly be able to hit that 500-hour mark.
Yes.
So we do have people who do that. I want to go ahead and get my ACC now because it's a requirement for whatever I'm doing. But, they're going to be able to turn around, get their PCC rapidly. We do have some individuals. I don't think we have as many as we used to that, are ready for their MCC, but have never applied for a credential previously. One of the requirements for the MCC is that you hold a PCC.
Yes, it was my case.
Okay, yes. So way back when, we didn't have that requirement, but the fail rate at the MCC level was really high. So that wasn't setting people up for success. So once we instituted that gave them pause. That gave them the opportunity to really reflect, in particular on the performance evaluation. Am I meeting and exceeding the PCC standards? So am I truly ready for the MCC? And so we've seen that pass rate really grow at the MCC level because of that requirement. So we do have people who are ready for their MCC as far as the requirements look like, but they have to go ahead and get their PCC. If that feedback comes back really positive on the performance evaluation, they turn around and go ahead and apply immediately for their MCC. So we didn't want that to be a burden for people who are in that particular situations, but also recognizing that everyone at each credential level should be meeting the exact same requirements.
Yeah, but within 1 year, they don't sit for the exam. They don't sit for the exam. They just do the mentoring
if it's done within recordings. Yeah, if you passed it within 12 months. So, excellent. But typically most people should plan on needing to take it again when they upgrade.
Definitely. So anyone has questions, please raise your hand in the reaction so we can and then I will call on you and then so we'll have Gintare, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for the presentation. A lot of information valuable. My question would be if by whatever cases somebody is not having enough CCs for renewing, let's say for PCC or ACC, and later on, what is the process to have an exam again or?
Yeah, so it depends. One, I would first highly suggest checking out the professional development page. You may be doing activities that you're not aware of that could count towards the total. Mentor coaching counts, whether you're receiving it or giving it. Coaching supervision counts, giving or receiving it. A lot of these little events you can kind of find. We also have our learning portal. So that is a great way to get CCEs relatively quickly, depending on how short a time frame you're looking at when you notice that you're not meeting it. If you're huge benefit for ICF membership. But if you find that you are not going to meet it, you have a 2-month grace period after your expiration date in which you can still renew without any penalty. Following the 2 months, you have an additional 10 months to still submit your application, but additional CCEs are going to be needed for each month late. So on the renewal page, which a link will be in the PDF that I'll send to Paulina to distribute, and on our website, you can find it under Credentials and Standards Renewal. There will be a chart of what is needed for each month that you are late. If you do not renew after a full year of your expiration date, then you are what we kind of consider fully expired, and you would have to reapply in order to regain your credentials. So you could either reapply for whatever level you had before, or if you're ready to upgrade, you could go ahead and do the next level up. You don't have to have a current credential in order to be able to apply for the next level up credential. And that would require applying in full, including passing the exam.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for a detailed explanation.
Absolutely.
So when we are uploading our proofs, that we had those CCs, it's basically all those certificates which provides that it shows. But how about mentoring sessions?
Yeah. So it will be similar to the credentialing application. You're going to put in your mentors. If you received mentoring, you'll put in your mentor's name, email address, dates of the first and last session, how many hours, and if those were in group, how many of those were in group or not. If you were providing mentor coaching, then you do need to get permission from your clients to share the information, and likewise for the mentor, but obviously most of those go ahead and agree to that, that you can share their information, and we'll need their name, their email, date, and of the first and last session, and same thing, number of hours that you provided, and how many of those may have been in group. Same thing with coaching supervision, same way. What happens is when you submit your application, an email is sent out, and they will verify the information that you put in or challenge it. If they like, oh, she got the dates wrong, or no, that wasn't the right amount of counts, or occasionally, no, that's not what we actually did. We were just chit-chatting over coffee. Nobody ever does that, but sometimes there's disagreements on the records. So that's how that process works. And then it's up to 10 hours of mentor coaching and up to 10 hours of coaching supervision, and that's giving or receiving. So 20 hours, and both of those count towards core.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. And my last question also connected with that. Let's say I'm participating now in one course that is going to give 18 CCs. It's going to be like a bundle approved like at once, or you think that it might be like it's too much from one course, so you have to get from a different sources?
No. So especially with courses, they typically are covering a variety of things, and that's what we're looking for, is that you're continuing your education. So with the mentor coaching, we do have people who mentor coach close to full time, right? Like they do a lot of mentoring, so they could easily meet that 40 hours. But what we want to see is that they are also spending time on their own reflection. We want to give them credit for spending that time in the core competencies, because they are having to dive deep into those and helping others. But we also want to see that they're staying current, not just with their coaching skills as it relates to the core competencies, but also what's going on in kind of the coaching industry. That's what the renewal is really there to, is to hone your skills and what's going on kind of in the industry, making sure you're staying current in both of those things, which is why we accept those resource courses. So things like this, getting caught up on what's going on in credentialing, is good information. It's good, for you as an individual if you're looking to upgrade. It can be good for you if you're mentor coaching, so you can support others. So we do accept that, because we want you to be staying current in both things.
Yeah, it really makes sense because we have to be like a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Gentare. Maisa, you can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Oh, you're still muted.
Yeah, you're still muted.
All right.
Yes, now you are unmuted.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
quite
She's having struggles with her
Yeah.
internet in Lebanon.
I'm
Maisa, do you prefer to type your question?
not able, so
yeah. Or maybe turn off your video. You might get a better signal if your
information
video is off.
bits and pieces. So I will be watching the session again, and maybe direct my questions to both of you and Pauline, because I was not able to listen to all the session at the same. I mean, I was just the electricity cuts, the internet was. Sometimes I could hear you, sometimes I couldn't, and
it will be available,
but thank you so much.
Maisa. It will be available on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
you can,
I'm
listen to
happy
it.
that it is.
Yes, and if you have
Yeah.
questions, you can reach out to me.
Yeah.
We will answer
I
definitely.
mean, my first impression is it's a bit, as you said, it's very rigorous, and I'm just kind of wrapping my head around all the acronyms.
The acronyms are the worst, and they all have C in them for some reason.
Yes, for coaching.
I'm saying, so
Competencies.
is this the mentoring, or is this the anyway?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
it
and
would be
with
helpful for. Sorry.
great. The other thing I'll put out there is, we understand that it's a lot. There's a lot to the requirements. There's a lot of options in how to kind of apply because we
Yeah.
want you to meet those requirements. So we really do see both the credentialing team and the customer service team that this is a conversation. So even after you submit your application, if we see something that's, looks off or we need clarification, we're just going to reach out to you and say, hey, is this start date right? Or, oh, if it's
Yeah.
portfolio, we think you're missing XYZ.
Mhm.
And we don't make you reapply. We just keep it open and we keep that conversation going. So just keep that in mind that you don't have to be perfect, that we totally understand and expect to have those questions come in. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Because it's a lot to absorb. And once you get
Mhm.
pointed into the right path and kind of understand, application path, and then kind of understand the requirements that are going to be needed, it becomes really clear and it becomes
Right.
much easier to navigate our website as well once you know where you're supposed to be. So
Right.
we understand that.
So that's exactly where I'm at this point is really trying to find the right path for me,
Mhm.
because you get a lot of information that's coming at you from different organizations and different credentials and different certifications. So it's very overwhelming, I guess. I guess
Yeah.
from someone who is a novice at this point, it's kind of like, okay, what exactly should be my next steps? And that's what
Mhm.
I'm struggling with right
Okay.
now. But I think once I feel bad because I didn't get all of the information that you were sharing with us.
All right.
But that I will watch it again. Hopefully, the internet will be better
Definitely.
later on.
And just reach out to support,
Yeah,
include your
I
certificates. If
will.
you have
Sure,
questions on
sure.
did I complete it in full, or is it this, or is it that, or I took it a long time ago,
Yeah.
was it ICF accredited? Send the certificates to them. They'll look it up and they'll let you know and get you
Okay.
on the right path. Not a problem.
Sounds good. Sounds very good. Thank you so much, Aileen. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Maisa. Thank you. Anyone
Thanks.
else?
Thank you, Pauline.
You're welcome. Irina.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, may I? Well, I'm new here. I'm originally from Russia and I had my coaching level 1 made in Russia, but I have level 1 certificate.
Okay.
And so far, I live in Cyprus now for 1 year and a half, and I'm planning to stay here. And now I'm like working on my ACC hours to apply an ACC certification.
Mhm.
So thank you very much for the clear presentation, because now I see the path. Well, it's a little bit a mess now, but I hope if you send us this presentation, it would be really lovely. And so I can pass the ACC exam here in Cyprus, right?
So that does get to be a little bit tricky. It's going to depend on the documentation that you have for your identification. So
Okay.
if you have identification government issued from Cyprus, you will be able to take the exam. So we're
What you mean
looking
identification? I have a passport Cyprus actually.
Yes.
perfect. So yeah, so it's individuals because of the sanctions on Russia
Oh,
right
no, I
now.
have a Cyprus
Individuals,
passport.
yeah,
Yes.
some of them have moved, but their only identification that they still have is
Okay.
Russian based, and we're not able to
Mhm.
do that. It has to be from wherever you're going to take the test is where you need to have your identification from. So if you
Okay.
have that, then yes, you can take the exam, no worries.
Okay. And you're located in Nicosia or in Limassol or Larnaca? So
No,
where is your office?
Aileen is outside. She is in ICF Global.
I see. Yes.
Yes, we are from ICF Cyprus chapter, Irina. So you can reach out to us, okay,
Mhm.
either through the website or whatever means that on social media. We have people in Limassol, we have people in Nicosia, we have people in Larnaca.
Okay.
And then maybe you can meet with some of the coaches and talk. And if you want anything, are you a member of ICF?
Not so far. So I'm just thinking how to join,
Exactly. You can
actually.
reach out to Gintare. Gintare, who's on the call with us. She's in charge of memberships. So she
Okay.
can explain to you everything related on how to go on and become a member and all of this. She will help you with that, because if you are a member, you have a better rate for the exam and everything.
Yeah, okay, I see, I see. That would be
Yes.
lovely. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so reach out to Gintare. She will guide you in every step. Don't worry.
Okay, okay, that's great. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, thank
Gintare,
you.
if
No
you
more
can
questions.
share your number directly with Irina private, so it's not on the chat, directly
Yeah.
to, yeah. So you can reach out to each other and then take it from there. She would help you. And if you need anything related to credentialing or so on, I would be happy to help you as well. Don't
Okay, thank you. That's lovely
Thank
to
you.
be a part of the community.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chapter membership is really great to be able to connect with others in your area, because they're
Yes,
obviously dealing with the same, a lot of the same interests and things like that as well. So that's great.
definitely.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. So, Gintara, I'm waiting for your telephone number. Maybe we can communicate by WhatsApp and proceed
Definitely.
somehow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Okay,
Thank
thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I see.
Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello from me as well. Thank you very much, Aileen, for this presentation. I am now myself in this time that I'm taking my ACC exam next week, the new
Great.
one. And I wonder if you have any statistics in the last 20 days of the passing rate of the new exam.
I don't. I'm trying to. It was the pass rate is good. So you should not feel like it is a hard, exam. It's pretty well in line with, I think, the credentialing exam, which actually ACCs did really well in, because they're most of them were fresh from school. So those core competencies and how to apply them. Were really fresh. I don't have the pass rates for those specifically for the live. We did test this with 700. Usually the cut number that you're looking for with a pilot testing of an exam is 300. So we had well over double that, which meant we were able to really get some good data on, which questions are performing well, and that are fair and understood. So you should feel pretty confident going in.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much. And just a question. You said before, and I've seen that there are like 12 languages that the translation is. And I wonder why Greek is not one of them.
So it is hard because especially when you're looking at an exam, this is a high caliber exam, which means it really has to be, when you do translations, really reflective and really done correctly. And that is a lot of time and expense. So this was kind of done on looking at the demand of, languages, looking at, the schools, and then also for the performance evaluations that were coming in, looking at our membership makeup, where's the demand as far as which languages to, invest in for this. That being said, we are undergoing now a kind of a holistic view of what are our translation needs? How do we want to approach that very globally, across ICF, the whole ecosystem? So it is continuing to be looked at. So it's not, really just random. It is looking at data and demand, and how we kind of serve. But it is quite expensive. Now, there are other parts of the documents, or of the credentialing, I guess it is really just the documents, that we do then look to like chapters to assist us with. So for I think it's the PCC markers, the core competencies, chapters have often undergone to do those translations for us. It does come back to us. It still gets checked, but not to the same level that an exam would, to make sure that it is reflective of what the core competencies and the PCC markers, are. And then the chapter is able to post that, and then we can link to that from our site. But for the exam, that is something that has to be done at a very high level.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. Yeah.
I see. Thank you very much. Just a comment from me as a new coach that I'm really excited about this area of coaching and the ongoing development. But my first reaction is that renewing the accreditation once you get it, it's really very demanding. I mean, the 3 years of renewing and all the CCs that you need to get, I think I believe as a new coach that they are very demanding, the requirements.
Yeah. So I would really encourage you as well to check out that professional development page, because again, there's probably more activities going on than you realize. And if you kind of, pay attention to those activities and record them as you go, I think you'll find that you will meet that sooner than you think.
Yes.
So like
Thank
even
God.
this is going to be, worth something. Again, maximizing if you happen to be an ICF member as well, maximizing, utilizing the learning portal. The learning portal is supported by 10 communities of practice, and these are volunteers who are focused in 10 different areas of coaching. So there's like ethics, there's health, there's executive, there's leadership. So if you check that out, you can follow them and the webinars that they're putting on throughout those 3 years. And a lot of them are going to be have core or be, core and resource development. So again, it can rapidly add up to that 40 that you're looking for. At the ACC level, we do have one that is more taxing, which is the mentor coaching requirement. We do at the ACC level look for individuals to get another round of mentor coaching. This again is one that I recommend you maximize. Spread that fee out over the 3 years so that you're not paying it all in lump sum. It also is going to give your coaching a boost. So pace that out to really work for you. But yeah, check that out. Reading can count. If you're into writing articles, those can count. So especially over the 3 years as a new coach, keep revisiting, because I think new opportunities are going to come your way. And you're just going to want to stay abreast of all of that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And not to forget that those monthly webinars as well, you have CCEs, some are in core competencies and some are in resource development. So if for 3 years, I guarantee you will be covering a lot.
Yes, I was going to say that Pauline is always reminding us in the ICF Cyprus about the CCEs that we're getting from the webinars.
Yes, because it's once a month, it's 2 hours, and you get, if they exponentially accumulate at the end of the 3 years, and it's a good opportunity. And I do second Aileen on the mentoring part, and really because the coaching is not a regulated industry. And I think this is why it's important to have the standards and raising the standards to make sure that the qualified, competent people are doing the coaching, not anyone just, I got my, let's say once and I forget about it. Because I personally believe that coaching is a forever learning path. You don't stop learning. There are so many tools that you need to learn, so many things that come up. It will go with the flow and you will not feel it, because it will empower you as a coach. It will help you. These learnings help.
These coaches by nature appear to be very inquisitive. So
yes, exactly.
You guys are always curious. You're always learning. So
yeah, and what you mentioned, Aileen, because I saw the profession, even reading, even attending a webinar, even some that people would not think that it will give them CCEs, give them, like mentoring, all of these. There are a lot of activities that count towards your CCEs, definitely. So it's a long list. I've seen it, and it's quite diverse. People will not think. I was reading a couple, I was thinking, really? Like you said, writing the blog, doing this, doing that, these count.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's
Anyone
part of
else has a
as
question?
you're stating, it's part of maintaining the value of the credential. So treating it as a real professional, real industry. So you want your attorneys and your doctors to be maintaining their education, and likewise, we want coaches to be maintaining and keeping up with industry trends and new things to really be able to serve their clients and be able to actually protect the clients,
Definitely.
knowing that they're going to a good coach.
Definitely. Definitely. Do we have any other questions? I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, concerning mentoring, because it was confusing for me, and I think some people got confused as well. To become a mentor, and you've mentioned it, that you need to be an, let's say, ACC for 3 years, or if you are PCC, you can mentor ACC. Whereas if you go to the mentors registry, you cannot register until you have renewed your credential after 3 years. Is this something you're gonna look into, or because in 2 places there are different information, and
So
this
the
is
mentor
I reached
coach,
out to
yeah,
support.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the mentor coach registry is a marketing tool. So
Yeah.
it's designed for people who offer mentor coaching, want to be offering mentor coaching. They pay a small fee to be listed on it. And because it's kind of marketing, we want to kind of ensure there's a little bit extra level of who we're allowing to post there, because we're not it has a little bit more weight there. So you do have to hold a credential for at least 3 years. You have to be an active member of ICF to be listed on it. You need to have passed, if you're joining now or when you renew, not when you renew, but if you're joining now, you do need to have passed the ICF credentialing exam. So there are additional standards to be listed on the registry. But in order to mentor coach individually, that's not a requirement at this time. At this time, it's just that you hold a credential at or above the level to which you will be mentoring. And if you're an ACC, that you've renewed at least once before you mentor others.
On the website, it's mentioned 3 years. Yes, which is once, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
At the ACC level, pretty much, you have to renew it in order for it to be active.
Yes.
Your credential has to be active to be listed on the mentor coach registry. Same thing for the ACC. Like, you can't be offering, you have to actually renew it before you have to go through one renewal cycle. So meaning that you've gone through your own second set of mentoring before you begin to mentor others.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I totally agree in regards to ACC, and because the number of coaching hours and the experience as well counts. But when people have a certain number of coaching hours, I think, and they've mentored before and all of this, they might benefit. The only thing is being credentialed for 3 years. That is they can't access the marketing tool for them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like they basically we're looking for them to kind of establish themselves as a mentor coach, and then, get themselves on there and pass the exam. So they are, we have some level of assurance.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Anyone else? Any hands up? No questions, I think.
Thank you so much. It was really well detailed. Every question I had, you immediately answered it without asking it.
We're getting really good at these, and I'm getting worried because the questions keep going down. I'm like, okay, are we overwhelming or are we providing all the answers? So I appreciate hearing that.
We were having questions, and then at the point of Q&A, you answer everything.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aileen, for your time and for really an excellent presentation. It was straight to the point, and I'm pretty sure the people who are going to watch it as well on our YouTube channel will benefit a lot. And if you have any questions, you can contact ICF Cyprus chapter or the training and events committee, and we will get back to you or direct you as well to the people who can answer you as well. And as Aileen mentioned, there is the support, and they do answer, because I was asking them a lot of questions concerning the mentoring and stuff. And really, they acknowledge the receipt, they answer, and you have, which is very good. They have an excellent support team. So thank you, Aileen, again. And we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hope to see you in another webinar next year.
Yes, we will be here.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you very much.